49 style.
Good day, everybody. Alright, welcome back. So, since the last time I recorded, I had a little bit of negative stuff going on. But I'm still keeping positive. So, let's move on. Let's forget about the negativity and let's go forward. Uh, One thing I want to add for this week is, it's another kind of multi-part series, but this week's kind of anxieties. And before people jump to conclusions and go, oh my god, we're just talking about anxieties, there's so many different ones. So, the thing about anxieties is they kind of all start similar, but they all have different reasons, different names, different, you name it. One thing I've noticed, because I've had panic attacks, I've had a lot of anxiety growing up, is you tend to worry about the things that are out of your control. Meaning, things that you can't even change or control, you're worried that they're either going to happen, not going to happen, or who knows what, right? So, I want to say, the first thing you really have to do is understand that anything that's not in your control, just don't worry about it. It's really hard to say because so many people are going to be like, but this could happen, but that could happen, but no. Don't worry about it until it happens, because it's kind of like, whenever I was doing my EMTs, it was always prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And what that means is don't worry about what can happen, just go ahead and be ready if it does happen. So let's say there's 100 and some scenarios I can pick, but let's just say, let's say it's a bill that's coming up. Now, let's look at everything that's happened in the last year. How many bills have you missed? How many times have you not got that payment paid? And then let's say you were a little late. How many times did it just never get paid? Because honestly, if you're still paying on something, it didn't get fully, you know. But everything happens for a reason, and everything happens when it's supposed to. So let's say you have a bill that's due and you're flat broke. If you sit there and worry about not being able to pay it, you're not going to be able to see all the blessings that possibly could happen. Because you're just one track mind focused on one thing. So I'd say 2 or 3 years ago, I was super stressed all the time because it was literally all my bills were down to the last minute. And I would sit there and I'd look at my business going are they going to spend money? Are they going to spend money? I hope they spend money. Because I was so anxious. Because all I wanted to do was make sure my bills were paid. Pay for the equipment and everything for the month. But it was just, I was always anxious. And then I started to notice that everything got paid. It might have been literally the last second. A couple years, 2 years ago, I was literally $200 something short on paying the equipment costs for the month. And I was so anxious. And then literally the day of, I walk out to my mailbox and there was a royalty check. It was like, what? Where'd this come from? And then I had another random check show up in the mail one time when I was really close to a bill being paid, and I just didn't know how it was going to happen. And then a quarterly music thing hit on one Sunday and I needed the money by like Monday or Tuesday to pay a bill. So it was kind of like I started noticing that all my bills got paid. It just, like, it was always the money that I needed just showed up. Like, I had like 500,000 wants. You know, like I always wanted to, I want to expand my business. I want to do this. I want to get new equipment. I want to do this. But anything that was like a necessity, like power bill, internet, my equipment, literally it was always magically, I would either, somebody would, you know, spend money at my business, or I would get a random check, or something would happen. Like, it wasn't even like I was like begging people. It was just, it was literally, I watched every single one of them happen. And I started going, I need to stop worrying about what will it, and just have faith that it will. And the moment that I started having that faith, it was just like, man, this bill's coming up. I'm not going to stress out. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to have faith. And lo and behold, bam, same thing. It would happen. When you stop having all that built up negative energy and all that extra anxiousness, you tend to start seeing, oh, this happened. Oh, this happened. And then it starts giving you more hope, and it starts building you up, because you start seeing all these little magic things happen. Like, I had a friend that she left her, she had money in her account, debit card wasn't working. Random stranger just walks up and buys her groceries. That little bit of money, where she had it, she might have ended up needing it for something else, and that person just, I mean, I know it made her day, probably made her week, probably made her whole month. But at the end of the day, it's small things that when you're starting to, not necessarily stress, but starting to worry, like, will I be able to do this, this, and this? And then some kind of magic miracle happens. You just have to have faith that these things will happen if they're supposed to. If your power gets cut off, maybe it's supposed to get cut off, because sometimes bad things happen to good people to help them build to the next level. So if something bad happens to me, I'm not just going to go, oh my God, this happened. Because at the end of the day, I have to remember it happened for a reason. I've been driving down the road before and got stuck at stoplights, and it's like, something's slowing me down for a reason. I get up about a mile ahead and there's a wreck. I could have been in that wreck, but I got stuck at a stoplight. You gotta stop worrying about all of the negative things, and just start looking at all the positive things. Because it's like, at the end of the day, if you sit there and go, well, this bad happened, what else is going to bad happen? Because you're going to start looking for the bad, and the bad's going to just come to you and be like, hey, you're looking for me, I'm here, let's party. You can't. If you start looking for all the positive, and you start having that hope, and you start having that faith, and then all of a sudden the good starts happening, you're going to be like, oh, I was looking for that. Oh, hey, how are you? And you're going to have a better, everything. So, like, anxiety is, like, so critical to, like, remove from your system. I don't even want to say if you can, because I know you can. It just takes a little bit of work and a lot of persistency. You have to be consistently reminding yourself that the bad things that are happening are just temporary. I have faith that everything is going to be better. And if you keep telling yourself that, you're going to have a better day. And when you have a better day, you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. You're going to act better. You're just going to have a better day. But I love everybody. I need everybody to kind of just wash all the negativity off and just have a positive day. If you start feeling anxious, you just got to remind yourself, this is temporary. I have faith that it's going to work out. I hope everybody stays beautiful. I hope everybody has an awesome day. Be beautiful. Love you.